Hi, my name is Sarah, known as Peelies and Petals on the internet. I'm a content creator and educator, and I help people gain food security through food preservation techniques. Today, I'm gonna talk to you about water bath canning your food at home. So a lot of people ask, where do I get started? And the most budget and economical way to start is with a water bath canner. Here I have a water bath canner and all the supplies, and I'm gonna show you what each one of these does when you're water bath canning. All of these supplies are available at your Lehman store, which is open every day of the week except Sunday and always online at lehmans.com. So when you get started water bath canning, one of the most common questions I get is, what can I can with a water bath canner? So your water bath canning is going to be for your high acid foods. I bet you don't have high acid foods memorized, but you can get yourself a canning book. And this is the canning book that I suggest for anybody that is new to canning. It is the Ball Blue Book of Preserving, and you can get that here at Lehman's as well. In this book, it's going to give you a chart of every single one of your foods and if they're going to be water bath canned or pressure canned. So your water bath foods are going to be things like all of your fruits and your fruit products, including your jams, your jellies, and your juices. It's also going to include some of your tomato products and tomato-based products, like salsa and ketchup. It's also going to include things like pickles or pickled vegetables. You can make things like corn salsa in a water bath canner. So what types of supplies are you going to need to get started today? Well, the first thing you're going to need is one of these big pots, one of these water bath canners. And the basic science behind canning high acid foods is we want to heat the food in the jar to 212 degrees in boiling water. So these jars are going to be submerged completely in water in the water bath canner. When you're choosing a water bath canner size, you want to make sure that the jar is able to have 1 to 2 inches of boiling water over top of the jar. That's going to decide what type and how large of jars that you can use in the water bath canner. So by boiling these jars at 212 degrees for a predetermined amount of time, you are going to kill off any bacteria or anything harmful that may be in the food that could make you sick. Also, by boiling these jars, you are going to create what we call a hermetic environment. It's going to seal. That means there's going to be no oxygen in the jar. Your food is going to remain fresh inside the jar because the oxygen can't get in there to break the food down. The lids themselves are very important as well. So once you have your water bath canner size picked out that you want, now we need to look at the other supplies. That's going to be things like your jars, your rings, and your lids. These lids are what create the hermetic seal inside of the jar. That means all of the oxygen has been driven out of the jar, and then the lid heat seals to the top of the jar, keeping any oxygen from getting back in the jar. This is what makes our food safe to put on the shelves without refrigeration. Once you get the food inside the jar and you add the lid, you are going to put this ring on what I call finger light. Now in the canning community, we call this finger tight, but I find that finger light keeps you from over tightening these rings. By using 3 fingers, you put this on the jar and you just spin until it engages with the jar and the jar begins to spin. That's it. That's all that's needed to secure that lid to the jar. Now the rings are a placeholder. And what I mean by that is the ring holds the place of the lid while it's being processed in the pressure canner or the water bath canner. Once the processing is done, you can remove that lid and you can actually lift, which I can't right now because it isn't sealed, but you can actually lift this jar up and it should be able to stay suctioned to the jar. That's how you know you get a good seal, and when you have a good seal, you know you have good food on your shelves. All right, so we have our water bath canner, we have our jars, lids, and rings, and then the last piece of equipment you're gonna need is an accessory kit. Inside this accessory kit, you're gonna find things like the jar lifter, which helps you get the hot jars in and out of the hot boiling water. You're also gonna find things like funnels and debubblers and all the neat little things that can make your job in the kitchen a breeze. I'm here to help you on your canning journey. I want to see you succeed. I want to see your pantries full of all your homegrown foods, and I want you to have that food security. I'm here to help you at peeliesandpetals.com, but Lehman's is here to help you every day of the week except Sunday and always online to give you the supplies and the equipment that you're going to need.